Good morning. It is Wednesday, May the 6th, and we are ready for another day. I am going to finish reading the book I started reading to you yesterday about inventors. So, you want to be an inventor, and we're going to finish this. We left off right here, and it says, inventors aren't all men. Illinois homemaker Josephine Cochran figured other women were as fed up with washing dishes and red hands as she was. In 1886, she put together a wooden tub, wire basket, and hand pump to invent the very first dishwasher. Yay, I like her. Movie star Hedy Lamarr said, "Any girl can look glamorous. All you have to do is stand still and look stupid." Beautiful Hedy Lamarr wasn't stupid. Just before World War II, she fled Austria and Hitler for the United States, where she and a friend invented a system for guiding torpedoes by radio signals. Her goal? Beat Hitler. That's Hitler right there. Even presidents can be inventors. I bet some of you know who we're about to talk about. George Washington invented a 16-sided treading barn in 1792. Horses trampled over wheat spread on the barn floor. The grain dropped through slots. Eureka! I showed you a picture of that. George Washington's wheat supply was dry, stored, and ready to be ground into flour. Thomas Jefferson invented a two-faced clock. One face inside, it told the day, hour, minute, and second, and one face outside, its Chinese gong, could be heard 3 miles away. Jefferson wasn't called smart for nothing. The ropes holding the weights were so long that he cut holes in the floor to let the weights hang in the basement. Maybe you like to work alone. Alexander Graham Bell worked alone at night, every night inventing the gramophone, an iron lug, kites to steady flight, and of course the telephone. "To take night from me is to rob me of life," he declared. Nikola Tesla was world famous for inventing the alternating current motor in the 1880s to produce huge amounts of electricity that could be sent over long distances. But Nikola lived in lonely New York hotel rooms, had no family, few friends, and only worked for himself. Maybe you'd rather invent as part of a team. Thomas Edison forged a crew of inventors who huddled day and night over clanking, hissing motors, smelly chemicals, and machines that sent sparks flying. He and his crew came up with the incandescent lamp, the movie camera, the phonograph, and more than 1,000 other inventions. One invention can lead to another. In the early 1900s, Henry Ford jumped from Michigan farm boy to king of the road. He didn't invent the automobile, but he did perfect mass production and the moving assembly line that had workers slapping his Model T Ford cars together in a hurry. Other inventors hopped on board. Mary Anderson invented windshield wipers, swish, swish. Garrett Morgan came up with traffic lights, red, stop, yellow, slow, green, go. Elmer Wavering invented car radios, a little music, please. More cars, more accidents. Alan Breed's airbags save lives. Whoosh! Wouldn't Henry Ford be amazed at what he had started? Sometimes an invention creates more problems than it solves. Remember when we talked about what the cotton gin caused? In 1793, Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin that cleaned cotton 50 times faster than workers cleaning by hand. Wire spikes pulled cotton through slots too narrow for the seeds, but more and more slaves were needed to grow more and more cotton. Eli Whitney's cotton gin sowed the seeds of the Civil War. Watch out! Your invention might scare people. Swedish chemist Alfred Nobel invented dynamite in 1866 by mixing nitroglycerin with chalky soil. But when 5 workers were killed in an explosion, Alfred was ordered to work outside the city on a barge in the middle of a lake. While experimenting in 1895, scientist Wilhelm Roentgen was shocked when he turned on an electric switch and saw light rays glowing from a screen he had treated with barium. X-rays. People freaked out. Did seeing their own bones mean they would die? Or were X-rays really death rays? It's scary to see something new, isn't it? It takes, changes people's minds to think of things in a new way. Be careful. The truth is, inventing can be dangerous. At an 1854 New York City fair, Elisha Otis stood on a platform that was raised up 30 feet by rope. He ordered the rope cut. The platform fell, but iron teeth grabbed notches in the guide rails and stopped the platform cold. "All safe, gentlemen, all safe," Elisha called out. His safety brake invention worked. Some of Orville and Wilbur Wright's early 1900s flying machines landed safely, and some didn't. Poor Orville. He was hurt in a glider crash, 2 airplane crashes, and a plane crash that knocked him out and broke his leg and ribs. Flying machine cloth and sticks in a heap with me in the center, Orville wrote in his diary. Some inventions are invented before their time. If Leonardo da Vinci hadn't been born more than 550 years ago, he could have been one of the greatest. He thought up and sketched an air cooling machine, automobile, paddle wheel boat, diver's snorkel, flying machine, parachute, and projector for pictures. In the 1830s, British mathematician Charles Babbage invented a steam-powered computer that had a memory bank, made decisions, and recorded data. His idea was on target, but his computer had to be trashed for lack of electronic know-how. Keep a sharp eye on your invention. Copycats are out there. Joseph Henry invented a telegraph system in the 1830s that sent signals over short distances. In 1844, Samuel F.B. Morse jazzed up Joseph's invention, put together a Morse code dot-dash system, and was tapped as inventor of the telegraph. In 1847, William Kelly invented a method of producing steel by burning off excess carbon in hot pig iron with a blast of cold air. 8 years later, Henry Bessemer's mammoth flame-shooting converters produced steel the same way. Who was known as the red-hot steel maker? Henry Bessemer. That's who. Okay, that's why we have patents, too. Of course, some inventions never take off at all. Andrew Jackson Jr. invented adjustable eyeglasses for chickens so they wouldn't peck each other's eyes out. The chickens weren't interested. John Boakes invented a hair-cutting helmet that sucked hair up into tiny holes where electric coils burned hair to just the right length. Ouch. Elmer Walter invented a table knife with a mirror on the handle to use at meals for checking if food was stuck in his teeth. Disgusting. Franz Vester invented a coffin with an escape hatch and a breathing tube in case the person inside was still alive. Too gruesome. Other inventions take off so well they're named for their inventor. Electricity is measured in volts. Alessandro Volta invented the electric battery. And watts. James Watts made steam power practical. Charles Mackintosh's weatherproof fabric turned into Mackintosh raincoats. During the French Revolution, Joseph Guillotine's guillotine beheaded victims. Rudolf Diesel invented the diesel engine that runs on unrefined oil. Here's the bottom line. Whether your invention is named after you or not, whether you're a dreamer, a loner, are laughed at, worked all night, or put yourself in danger, your invention could change the world. It has happened. Vladimir Zorinkin's 1923 electronic tube led to television. 3 U.S. scientists' 1947 transistor led to computers. Even more important, Johannes Gutenberg invented a hand-operated printing press with movable metal type in the 1440s. A printer could print in a day what it took a year to write by hand. Result? Books, books, books. People decided it was time to learn to read, and they did. In the end, being an inventor means pushing the limits of what human beings know and what human beings can do. Because you're a risk taker and will be on a quest into the unknown, you have to be willing to try and fail. Try and fail. Try and maybe succeed. One thing is certain, there will always be barriers to be broken, whether it is to find a new source of power, a different way to communicate, a machine that works medical miracles, or something that we can't even imagine. It takes passion and heart, but those barriers could be broken by you. Okay, I hope that gives you a little bit of motivation this morning as you start your work. Also, to remember that part of life is mistakes, failing. The inventors, the ones that make things that we remember, are the ones that know that part of the whole process is failure. Part of the whole process is messing up and getting right back up again instead of staying down and saying, oh, well, I guess I just wasn't meant to do that. Keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. And I hope that's what you do with your work. Don't be lazy with it. Take it seriously. It's important. I'm trusting you to hold your end of this as we continue this process of learning at home. I'm trying to do what I can. I want you to do what you can to keep this up and strengthen your mind and continue to grow. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you learn something new.